good one.
Kind of like
resonated. I'm like, oh, that made my ears like fucking ring. Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast.
Did it make your vagina also hurt too?
No, my vagina feels fine.
Oh, that's
actually,
good.
yes. My name is Paul.
Thank God you finally got that cleared up.
Yes. I am the Country Hipster. This is the Country Hipster Podcast. To my left is my co-host, the Country Vagina Lover. Now is what I'm going to call you. I had another thing.
Ladies.
I had you the Country Streak Breaker, since you broke my streak, but then you brought up my vagina. So there you go. You must be very fond of it or something.
I mean, it's you know, it's when the doctors make it for you, they can make it perfect.
We're going to be called the Country Canceled Show real soon.
Country Canceled.
So the music you heard at the beginning was not canceled. That is Dirty Knife by the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia. So go check out the Unholy Four on Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, and anywhere you can find the Unholy Four. So real quick, going to just do some real quick business here. This weekend is Irish Weekend down in North Wildwood. If you don't know what that means, it's called the Irish Fall Festival. The Ancient Order of Hibernians out of North Wildwood, Cape May County, Division 1, I believe. Host for it's been like 30 years now. It's called Irish Weekend. It's the Irish Fall Festival. It's one of the biggest Irish festivals on the East Coast, and I am performing all weekend long with the Birmingham Six. So we are doing.
I'm sorry, is it the Birmingham Six singers of the song "Move On" that closes this podcast, Paul?
As a matter of fact, it is.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
I wonder how we got that tie-in.
Yes, it's amazing. That's because I own the copyright to it. So I will be performing with the Birmingham Six all weekend. Friday and Saturday we are on the Municipal Street Stage, which is right outside the Elks. If you are familiar with North Wildwood, you know what I'm talking about. If you are not familiar with North Wildwood, just ask somebody, where's the Elks, and they'll point you there. So we are playing on the Municipal Street Stage outside of the Elks Friday and Saturday at around 2 o'clock. It's always a little weirdish with times when it comes to these festivals because, you have other bands and in and out and set up and set down, and you have Irish dancers, and of course the great Timmy Kelly will be performing. Yes. So sometimes times get pushed back. They never get pushed up. They usually always get pushed back. So we'll say 2-ish.
Do you have a full band?
Full band. All 5 of us will be there. And then the only other show we have during Irish Weekend is Saturday night from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We are playing down in Wildwood proper, right on Rio Grande Avenue at the Mud Hen Brewing Company. We've played Mud Hen, like a bunch of years now between Mud Hen and Dogtooth. We've been playing there a lot. I am going to sneeze in a second, so I am going to apologize. 1 second.
Hey, bless you.
Excuse me. All right. At least I felt it coming on.
Yeah.
So, but at any rate, yes, I will be playing again with the Birmingham Six. We'll be playing at Mud Hen on Saturday from 5 to 9. Mud Hen has great food. There's a real kind of like beer garden atmosphere going on. We are playing outside, and it's supposed to be, as far as I know right now, it's supposed to be a beautiful weekend down in Wildwood for Irish Weekend. So hopefully, if you're down there, come up and say hi. Say, hey, I listened to the Country Hipster Podcast. I will give you a sticker and a handshake and probably a hug because I'm like, you're one of the 15 people. So, so there we go. But so that's all the business. The business is done. Now we got to get to some other stuff here. So as you know, last week was a random episode, and I did mention there that we had some family stuff going on. So Adam, I'll let you do it. Since I didn't let you talk for 30 minutes of a Fall from Grace with God. So.
Yeah. So today is we're recording this on September 15th. On September 7th, Paul and I lost our father. He passed away at 12:22 in the afternoon. So yeah, he would have been 72 years old today.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw, I posted what is my new favorite picture of my dad that I found.
It's a good one. We might use it for this episode.
Yeah, it's a strip of photos from a photo booth. And the first 3 photos, it looks very much like he had no idea what the fuck was going on. And because it's the exact same photo, and the last photo is just him giving the middle finger. So that's why we were going to record last Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
but we had excuse me, we had people over the house, and I had worked the night before. People kind of looked at me weird when I said I was going back to work.
Yeah.
I took the night. He died on Thursday. I took Thursday off, and I was back in work on Friday. I'm the type of person where if I'm sitting still, I'm going crazy.
Yep.
And not so if I wasn't doing something, I'd rather be working than just staring at the fucking wall at my house. So I had worked all weekend, and I had my boys were at the house that weekend as well, so I was fucking exhausted.
You were exhausted. Yes.
Yeah.
It was an exhausting week.
Yeah.
In general, so.
But yeah. There were I real quick and funny. I had a conversation, a text conversation. I never thought never really thought of having. But it's probably also a conversation that like kids with alcoholic fathers have when their dad gets thrown in the drunk tank. Basically, got a text from someone saying like, "Hey, I have your dad in a small box. Can you come pick him up?" His wishes were to be cremated. So he was cremated earlier this week and is now residing next to our brother Brian.
Yeah.
Brian's ashes were split amongst your mom and Kelsey, and I believe you. Did you get some?
Well, I ended up with somebody because I ended up with my mom's when my mom passed.
Yeah.
So I had that box of Brian there, and it was a while before she would even take it, which eventually she did.
Yeah.
And I think Kelsey, but I also think there were 4 boxes of Brian actually.
Okay.
Because I think
there's only one box of Mike.
Yeah.
4 boxes of Brian.
Wait, 1 box of Skip. Are we killing Mike? Oh, 1 box of Mike. I thought I was like, are we killing Mike already?
Yeah.
But no. So there were several boxes of Brian. I think there were just the 3, but I don't know. At any rate, so yes.
So now his remains are in a almost identical box.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Next
it's pretty crazy.
Next to Brian's on top of my mom's entertainment center.
So what we have here, our father's favorite drink to shoot was blackberry brandy. So we have some Jacqueline's.
Not just shoot, but also what he would do is when he had a toothache.
Oh yeah.
He would have a shot glass sitting next to his chair and just a stack of Q-tips.
Yeah,
and he would just dip the Q-tip in the fucking brandy and just dab it on his fucking tooth.
So for this episode, we're gonna pour this out here for the skipper, and we're gonna leave this. The skipper is our special guest today. So we're gonna leave that there for him. Throughout the episode, and I'm breaking out. I do not break this out very often. This is my bottle of Jameson Castmates. It's a stout edition. I got it as a gift a few years back. God, probably close to 10 years ago now. So, and it's like just about halfway. Yeah. So I do not break this out very often. But Adam and I are going to drink a little bit of Caskmates here.
It's funny. I ever tell you the one time I went to Patty Wax Welsh? It was after Dave and Christie's like gender reveal for Max.
Dave and Christy, just in case you guys don't know, Christy is Haley.
Haley's my daughter's mom, and Dave is her stepdad.
Your first baby mama.
Yes.
But
after their gender reveal, Dave, Dan, and myself went to Patty Wax Welsh, and we're sitting at the bar, and I asked the bartender for 3 shots of Jameson. And there's a bottle mixed in with all the other shit that they have. And then there's a bottle over here on a nice glass shelf that's nicely lit with a bunch of other fancy looking bottles. Everything is evenly spaced and nice and everything. So, excuse me, I said to the bartender, I was like, can I ask you a question? And then she's like, yeah. I'm like, what's the difference between that bottle and that bottle? And she goes, I don't know price wise, but I know that one's 20 years old, and I'm like, don't touch that bottle. 3 shots of that one, please.
There you go. So so we got some Jameson Castmates for us, for the skipper, and for our stepmom Debbie, and for everybody else in the family.
I say we've mentioned Dad, your mom, and Brian,
and we're killing off Michael. So
yeah, so
there we go.
Cheers, Pop.
All right. God damn, that is good.
Ooh.
I know. Don't touch it. It's special. Don't touch it. It's fucking amazing, isn't it?
It's really good, actually.
It is so fucking smooth and delicious. And that's why...
I think... No, it still has that Jameson bite.
But not as bad.
But it's weird because
it is a
the bite,
smooth, yes.
It comes on the back end of it instead of like initial.
This, honestly, when I drink this, I actually usually drink this on ice. I usually sip it. I can't really sip whiskey.
Yeah.
But this I can. So there we go. So we're gonna keep the skipper here. He is our special guest for the evening. So we're gonna move on. Move on. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to put on my Oktoberfest hat because it is still Oktoberfest.
I'm going to become Oktoberfest.
We have a show here. So, Adam, I told you I have a very special beer.
Yeah. I haven't been allowed to figure out to know what we're drinking.
Not even. So, I actually have to go get it. All
okay.
Right?
So I got to vamp for a little bit.
You got to vamp for a little bit. So honestly, this was actually Jack's idea that I bring it in like while we're recording so we can get like an actual reaction to what I have here. So I will be right back.
All right. So while Paul is going to get this, I told Paul that if he somehow found a Mexican Oktoberfest, I'm gonna kick him square in the throat. Honestly, I probably won't just because that's kind of impressive as hell that if he did find one, but I'm very excited for this because I've been literally it's probably about 4 or 5 times he's told me, "Oh, I got something good for the episode," and I was like, "All right." And then I got up to his house today, and he's like, "Oh, you can't see it yet. You can't see it yet." Usually he'll just fucking show me, but oh Jesus Christ, the fuck is that? Jesus Christ. Holy shit. That's fucking amazing.
For our Oktoberfest, we had to get the best fucking biggest Oktoberfest beer that I can.
Jesus.
This is a Hofbrau Oktoberfest beer. Right there in this 5 liter. Is it a 5 liter or 5 gallon?
No, it's not 5 gallon.
Okay, it's not 5 gallons. That's right. I know 5 gallons, but yeah. So this
it's 5 liter. It's 1.32 gallons.
So little
Jesus Christ.
Here. So this is what I was like this it's so fun. Ridiculous. I have to get I saw this when we first talked about doing the Oktoberfest beers this month, right?
You know, you ever think Heineken has the same thing as this?
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck buys this? Paul buys this.
So this is 1.32 gallons, 5 liters of beer of Hofbrau Munchen. I don't know. I barely speak English, let alone fucking German.
Yeah. Kristen, we need Kristen.
Yes, gives us the ways to open it up and. So that's why I brought the bar over, and we have some glasses here. So I'm gonna try to do this.
I'm gonna attempt to do this,
and we're gonna see what happens. I guess I'll attempt it right here.
I'm pretty sure I've had this before.
Then I can probably move it. So all right. So it says, venting the keg, fold the tongue on the top of the keg, and then turn a quarter towards the arrow. What? Yeah. Okay. It's not moving.
Where's the arrow?
It's a quarter in the direction of the arrow. Whoa! Okay, quarter, not all.
Quarter turn.
Okay, what's number 2?
Oh wait. There's a.
Quarter. There is a quarter. Okay. Preparing to draw. Place the keg on the edge of the table. Fold the tongue on the tab forward. Pull the tab completely. All right, so we got the little tongue here. So fold that forward, and I got to pull the tab completely.
I'm terrified.
Okay. And then pour in the beer. Place the glass under and slightly to the left. And there it comes out. Well, we got beer coming out. All right. Whoa. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right, let's do a little bit faster there. And then we'll have to switch it over, and then I will put it up on the...
I did a terrible job of pouring this beer.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
That's okay. That's a lot of head there.
That is a lot of head.
That's a lot of head.
I forgot what we were doing, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just hold my glass straight."
Yeah, right. No, I hear you. So I think this might be a little better of a pour than I'm getting here. So yeah, so this is like the ultimate Oktoberfest. Like, how can I not get this? I saw this when we were originally talking about doing the Oktoberfest, I saw it in the store, and I'm like, oh man, I should get that. So I'm gonna put it up on the bar here.
It's fucking amazing.
You know, we should have had Tom. Can you see it? There you go. You can kind of see it behind my computer there.
That's fucking amazing.
We should have had Tom come
just
to pour us these beers, but it's a Friday night. He's probably bartending at the Tierno in Trenton. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. This is our Oktoberfest here. So
Prost.
That is fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
That's delicious. That is way delicious. So I can take my Oktoberfest hat off now. So the other reason I got this is because Adam does have a very busy schedule, and actually I have a pretty busy playing schedule. We're actually recording 2 episodes tonight.
Yeah.
So so I was going to save that for the last episode of our Oktoberfest, but since we're recording back-to-back episodes tonight.
I was going to save the fact that we recorded 2 episodes for the second episode. And I'll tell you why when we get to the second episode.
Okay. So guys, just forget what I just said.
Yeah.
You're not really paying attention anyway.
Yeah.
So don't even worry about it. And you can say that again. All right. So we are here though to talk about. We got some business to get to. Some business. I have another Oktoberfest in here too, just so you know. But you'll see it when we get there. We got this whole fucking thing.
Am I not allowed to fucking see this?
Oh, no, you can see it later. Yeah, no. This actually have a Sierra Nevada Oktoberfest. So I saw that. I generally like Sierra Nevada beers.
I fuck with Sierra Nevada a lot.
Yeah, but Fest beer is what they call it. This is really delicious.
Yeah. I say I've had a couple Hofbraus, and they're fucking... Yeah. The Germans make delicious beer.
Delicious beer. So... what we are here to talk about, and I don't know if he was German. I doubt he was. We are here to talk about Bob Dylan, Blonde on Blonde.
Bob Dylan was Jewish, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he was German.
Nah.
So yeah, we are here to talk about Blonde on Blonde.
There you go.
Before I get into the factoids about this album,
this was
on my
right. This was on yours, but was this this was you breaking my streak, right?
Yes. This
okay.
Is breaking the streak.
Cool.
Before I get into the factoids about this album, do you know why I own this album?
No.
I own this album for, I don't know if you guys are aware at home, but Jack Black is in the movie High Fidelity.
Oh, is he?
He is.
Oh,
I'm not sure if you're aware. I know there are some people who fall asleep on this podcast who are unaware of that.
I thought he was. I'm pretty sure I saw that. But I remember there being an episode of the Summer Movie Club that you guys covered High Fidelity, and at no point did Zach mention
did anyone
Jack Black.
mention it. Yeah,
I don't
like
think
an asshole.
he did. Yeah, what the fuck? It was a pretty big part of that movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, go on.
There is a line in High Fidelity where at some point Jack Black is walking, basically it looks like he's walking somebody around the record store, and what I imagine is the guy walked in and is like, "Hey, I want to start collecting records. What should I get?" And Jack Black was just like, "Oh, well, just here, buy all this shit that I'm about to pick out for you." And at one point they're walking, he's like, "Don't fucking tell anybody you don't own Blonde on Blonde."
Okay.
And he takes it out of the fucking rack and he holds it and he's just like, "It's gonna be okay."
That's right. I remember that scene. And that is from the movie High Fidelity.
That is the movie
with Jack Black.
Jack Black says that line in the movie High Fidelity. Yes. So Jack Black is in fact in that movie.
I don't know how Zach missed that.
I don't know how he missed that because
What a fucking asshole.
If I'm not mistaken, that's the same scene where John Cusack is like, "I will now sell 3 EPs by new EPs by the Beta Band."
Right. Yep.
So the reason I'm a Bob Dylan fan. I consider High Fidelity my favorite movie, and when I realized I discovered that movie before I discovered Bob Dylan. So when I realized after the fact,
okay.
I didn't really start listening. I discovered High Fidelity when I was in high school, and I didn't really start listening to Bob Dylan until when I got into college.
Okay.
So when I put 2 and 2 together, I was like, "Oh, fucking! I need to make sure I can't upset Jack Black, who happens to star in High Fidelity. I have to own Blonde on Blonde."
Right.
Can't remember where the hell I got it from, but I think I bought it from. I've mentioned it before. The record store in Jersey that I think is now closed down.
Yeah.
Tunes. Mm-hmm. But this is Blonde on Blonde. This is the 7th studio album by Bob Dylan. It was released, excuse me, on June 20th, 1966. The thing I found very interesting about this album is it says it was recorded between January and June of 1966.
Okay.
Generally, I feel like when the albums that we've covered, the recording is at least like 8 to 9 months.
Well, so
prior.
Yeah, it depends. It has been depending on the album. Like the Pogues, there wasn't that much of a different time difference between when they finished recording "If I Should Fall from Grace with God" and when the album was actually released. There was a short period of time, but some of them, and even with the specials, it was like a month, 2 months from the time they finished recording that till the time it was released. But no, generally, especially like with the bigger labels, the bigger releases, it does tend to be much more post production and just time between when the album's actually released and from when it was actually recorded. But anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So the album was released on Columbia, and produced by Bob Johnston, who has also produced such people as Johnny Cash, Leonard Cohen, and Simon and Garfunkel.
Okay.
Which is now technically a friend of the podcast.
Yes. Paul Simon. We were hanging out last week. I hope everybody saw the random episode that I did, random record review there.
This is something I didn't know until doing research for the episode. Apparently, this is the third in a trilogy.
Oh, I actually did not realize that either.
The first of which being Bring It All Back Home, and the second being Highway 61 Revisited. Apparently, Blonde on Blonde is the trilogy of those three albums.
Okay.
Album made it to the top 10 in both the United States and the UK in August 67, which is a year and some change after release. Album was what went gold. And the album was critically acclaimed when it first came out. In 2006, Time Magazine included the record on their 100 all-time albums list. In 2003, the album was ranked number 9 on the Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time.
Was it up to 2002? Okay, because I have that.
Yeah, so 2003 was ranked number 9.
2012 it was ranked
2012 stayed at number 9, but then dropped to number 38 for the 2020 release of the list. So I said I started listening to Bob Dylan when I was in college.
So real quick, but a couple other factoids on this. This album is 2 times platinum in the U.S., selling over 2 million copies.
Doing my thing. I assumed, but I missed that when I was reading.
And it's 3 times platinum in the UK. Apparently, platinum in the UK is 100,000 units. So there you go. So 3 times in the UK, 2 times platinum in the U.S. with over 2 million copies sold. Sorry. And in 1999, the album itself was inducted to the Grammy Hall of Fame.
Oh, I missed all this when I was doing my thing.
So,
something that I read was interesting. It was originally released as a double album.
And
apparently it's credited as like the first double rock album.
Yep.
But apparently it beat another big double album out by it was released literally a month prior. I forget what the other album was. Yeah, but it was.
What year was this released?
66.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure what that was.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's it was the first by a month. So
Okay.
Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I put the fucking thing on my list. So I enjoy the album. What's your opinion on this album, Paul? Because I want to kind of jump back and forth between, because I've never known you to be a Bob Dylan fan.
Okay.
But I know that there are some things in this genre that you do like. So, what is your opinion on this album? So
overall, I like this album.
Okay.
Overall, just I do like the album, and I like Dylan. It's definitely I can understand and see Dylan's influence over modern music from from the time he started performing until now. I mean, there's an indie rock band. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Not a Surf.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the album Let Go, they actually have a song Blonde on Blonde, and it's
Yeah.
about listening to this album and it being basically like a lullaby. Like everything else is going wrong with the world, but I got Blonde and Blonde playing on my radio, so it's all on my stereo, so it's all fucking good. So I mean, it's definitely an influential album. Dylan in general is highly influential, and I will say I overall enjoy Bob Dylan and Bob Dylan stuff.
The reason why I wanted to know your opinion is because know your opinion before I get into it. I enjoy this album. I love this album. Obviously, I put it on my list. In retrospect,
another in retrospect, huh?
Probably would have gone season 2.
Okay. All right.
And I'll not for, you know, like I say, like I love the album and everything, but I probably could have found I probably, especially now knowing Paul had the Sam Cooke greatest hits on his list. I think honestly, if I you know, I would try to stay away from doing that because I do have the greatest hits volume 1 and 2. If I had known that it was, if I was trying to stay away from that, but if I had known you were cool with it, I probably would have replaced this with volume 1.
So okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. Regarding that, which I definitely understand. So it's a great bunch of songs, right? It's well written, well recorded. But that being said, I don't know that I'm going to listen to Blonde on Blonde again.
No.
You know what I mean? What I'm more likely to listen to, it's funny you said it, and what I'm more likely to listen to is the Greatest Hits album.
Yeah.
And then you know, it's I'm glad I listened to it, but like I think I'd just rather listen to
Didn't you say
Greatest Hits.
Didn't you say you also have like a weird wacky?
Well, so here's what I have. It's
wacky waveable inflating arm guy.
Yes.
Version of this.
So what's kind of crazy is I have and it's funny because I talked about the Paul Simon. Like I have the Paul Simon Ultra Disc Mobile Fidelity set of Still Crazy After All These Years. I have an unopened Mobile Fidelity box set of Bob Dylan Blonde on Blonde. I don't know what number it is. But like, so the last time that was re-released, because all the Mobile Fidelity shit always gets re-released, regardless if Mobile Fidelity says, we're never going to re-release this, gotta buy it now.
It's like Disney. We're putting it in the vault.
Yeah,
cool,
it gets
Disney.
re-released eventually. But I mean, to the point where like the last time it was re-released, I got a bunch of copies in for orders and whatnot. But I specifically got one in for myself, and I'm like, oh well, you know, it's probably gonna be a valuable record. It's Dylan, da 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 da. So I grabbed the copy, and I still haven't opened it, and I still haven't listened to it.
No.
And now I'm actually thinking of selling it.
Yeah.
Because I also have.
It's factory sealed, so.
Yeah, it's I also have I have Bob Dylan's Greatest Hits Mobile Fidelity release of that as well.
Oh, okay. I have volume 1 and volume 2, and they're both old pressing.
Yeah,
albums,
it's just volume 1, and I do listen to that, and I do enjoy that.
Yeah.
And that kind of says like, okay, so why do I have this record in my collection?
Yeah.
That I had to have.
Yeah.
But I still haven't opened. So I'm honestly thinking of selling my copy of Blonde on Blonde, because after listening to it, like, to do this podcast again, great fucking album.
Yeah.
Great group of songs. Great, like, overall it's an excellent album. I just don't know if overall it's an album that I would listen to the album in its completion over and over again. But I did actually enjoy listening to
I say I love the album. I mean, I don't know about you, but me personally, Bob Dylan is very inspiring to me.
Okay.
Because if a dude that looks the way Bob Dylan looks and sounds the way Bob Dylan sings can fucking make it, then maybe my terrible singing isn't that bad.
So that is actually something I have here, right? And I have Adam. Why do you like this album and Dylan so much? Are you trying to
I'm trying
roll
to,
that over?
I want to move it more center.
More center, so
Because
okay.
I feel like
Alright,
they
there we
actually,
go.
they haven't gotten to see the fucking nonsense that is this core.
So, but that because and here's why I asked that question, and please don't take this. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. I'm not trying to talk down to you. So, I know you play music, right? So, Dylan, the people who like I know are all about Dylan. Or I fucking love Dylan. Are people who are generally professional musicians, active musicians, songwriters, all that kind of stuff. The general person, like, you know, is not like, oh, well, Dylan's the greatest thing in the world. They're like, oh, Dylan, like, whatever, you know what I mean? Most people are like, I like Dylan's songs played by other people, you know? So I thought it was interesting. And so again, please don't take this wrong.
No.
I put you in that regular person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because, you know, to my knowledge, you don't write songs. Maybe you do. I just don't realize
I have, not recently, but yeah.
You know, but like you don't play in a band. I know you play guitar. You play a lot of instruments, and you're pretty good at it. But you know what I mean? Like,
No,
I wouldn't put you in that category. So that's why. But so it kind of surprised me so much that you know what I mean, that this was on there in your collection, and that you really dug Dylan. So I wanted to ask you, like, why? What is it? What is it about?
I think like what I said is it. Like, it's. I've always joked that I have a terrible singing voice. When I was in high school, my senior year, I was given choir, and I went into the class on the first day. We were doing some like kind of bookworky kind of bullshit while the teacher was basically pulling students into his office one by one and trying to figure out where they fit into the choir, what range they fit into. So he called me up to come into his office, and I said to him, like, I think when I'm here for your choir class, I should go next door and play an instrument because I think I might be tone deaf. And he's like, no. He's like, I've heard you. I had auditioned for the school's talent show the year before. And he's like, I've heard you play guitar and sing, so I know you're not tone deaf because you know what you know what you're doing.
Most people aren't tone deaf.
No.
It's like what it is people are not trained.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So a lot like Katie, my wife, Katie, she'll be like, I can't sing. They told me that I couldn't hold a tune and all this kind of stuff. I fucking hear that woman sing in the car all the time.
Yeah.
And she can sing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know why anybody said like you can't sing. Like is my wife a trained singer? No. Does she go flat or sharp or sometimes a little bit off key? Yes.
Yeah.
Can she sing? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think most people can.
I always say that I can sing if I'm singing. I think my voice is specifically geared towards very specific things.
That's how you start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, so where was I going? Tone deaf,
dude in school, teacher.
Oh yeah, so I was
This delicious
I've never considered myself a good singer.
Real quick, this is really good.
Yeah.
This is just like light.
Yeah,
and
do you know
like,
why? It's because the Germans invented beer, Paul.
They did, I know. I thought it was the Egyptians.
But
anyway.
it's Oktoberfest.
All right, so I'm sorry,
This came from Munich.
It came from Munich. Yes, it did.
It came from a fucking Eric Bana movie.
That's right. This is amazing.
No.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Do you think David Hasselhoff blessed this can before it came?
He does. Yeah. Every single all the breweries in Germany, he gives a sign of the cross over every single vat.
I will say, I think after we kick this, I'm actually going to keep it because, like, I have my
oh yeah, absolutely,
my Pilsner lunchbox up
there.
Yeah,
if you just you know what I mean? If you just threw that away, I'd fucking kick your ass.
No, I think this is going to end up here in the Ottsville Record Garage, just kind of hanging out. So, but anyway, go on.
So I've never considered myself to be a good singer. A lot of people ridicule Dylan for the way he sounds when he sings. He sounds very much like this.
So so that's the thing. Okay, so. Here's what I'll say: if you really listen, and even on this album, right? You got to, it's very easy to say Dylan sings like this.
Yeah. It's like when people do a Christopher Walken impression, you do the exaggerated version of it.
But that's not Dylan. Even on this album, like there's a little bit where where it's a little bit the you know,
Yeah.
but he does it on this album for emphasis,
Yeah.
not for this is how I sing.
Yeah.
Because there's other songs on this album that he doesn't sing like this. He sings like it's like, all right, cool. Like, you know, and I think that's, you know, it's and I get it though. Like he does have a nasally voice. As someone who's been told that I have a very nasally voice when I sing, I get it. I do, you know what I mean? But and you try to change it up as much as you can. But no, this album overall is not you know what I mean? Or it's you know it's not that. It's not that. So you know.
So yeah, he's often ridiculed for the way for that exaggerated way that he sings. So like I said, like it kind of gives you hope. Like, all right, if that guy sounding like that can do it, then I can do it. Like then maybe I'm not that bad. And also just like certain like it boils down to a very another thing that it boils down to is a very just childish thing. Like a lot of times like pictures you see of Bob Dylan, he just looks like he's the coolest motherfucker in the room.
Absolutely. Even as like an old man, he looks like he's fucking
like,
cool as fuck. Yes.
I don't have them. I wish I fucking had them with me. They're in my car, but I do not feel like fucking going to get them. I don't wear real Ray-Bans because I'm broke. But
these are Ray-Bans.
Yeah. But I wear
I'm broke, but these are Ray-Bans.
I wear Ray-Ban style sunglasses, and I wear Ray-Ban, like, people are amazed at how dark my sunglasses are. And I always tell people it's because I have light eyes and the sun hurts my eyes. So the darker the sunglasses, the better it is. Real
quick, just to specify, like, yes, I have Ray-Bans, but like I got over 2 years, like, because the company I was working for had really good for eye vision care. So I actually had gotten 2 different pairs of Ray-Bans 2 years in a row, and they're like same exact style. So now what I do is every year I don't get new Ray-Bans every year. I just go in with the old ones and say, okay, I want these to be my regular glasses and these to be my sunglasses. So that's what I do now. So it's like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. So I just get new lenses now when I need a new prescription. But I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah. So part of the reason why the sunglasses I have is because Dylan's fucking cool. The reason why I own the fucking thing that holds a harmonica in front of your face while you play guitar. It's because fucking Bob Dylan's cool.
And I tell you what, I have toyed.
The reason I smoke cigarettes, Paul, is because it's cool.
See, all of those reasons, I do the same thing, except it's for Jacob Dylan.
Yeah.
Because the Wallflowers. Yeah. No, I actually do like the Wall. I like the Wallflowers debut album, but that has nothing to do with it. No. So
we digress.
Yes, we digress, and I will digress further. So what you're saying there, right? Like about if a guy like that could look like that and sound like that and play the stuff and make it.
But it's not just that. That's just the more that's the more the vanity side of it.
Right, but that's actually what I want to talk about is the vanity side of it, because I realized in the summer of 2019.
Okay. I
actually realized the exact moment why I haven't made it as a musician. So this is a great story. I'm at that summer I ended up Jameson Celtic Rock, who was a friend of the podcast, Frank Daly, who was on the Smiths episode. Oh, that's nice. So their longtime bass player, who's a little bit older gentleman, David Lind, is an amazing fucking bass player. Basically, was just like, dude, I don't feel like doing this anymore. He was an older guy. He was just like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so they needed someone to fill in on bass until they found their permanent bass player, who they have now, who's an excellent guy, excellent bass player. But so I ended up filling in on bass for him for like basically the end of summer 2019. Yeah.
Which there's been a few episodes we've recorded this summer that Frank would have been back on, but lives down the fucking shore.
Well,
apparently.
Yeah. During the summer, this episode is one that also he would have been, but it's Friday night and he's performing. So, we don't generally film on Friday nights, but we are tonight. So so I'm learning these songs, and if you're familiar with Jameson Celtic Rock, they do some Irish stuff, but because you're playing down the shore and you're trying to play to the masses, they do a lot of like cover shit. Right?
Yeah.
So he gives me a whole list of songs and tells me what keys they play them in, and so I'm sitting there in the basement learning the songs and whatnot. I come across this one song. It says "Country Girl," and I was just like, "The fuck is this?" So I'd never heard the song before,
Yeah.
so I put it out. I put it on Spot. I search it on Spotify, and this thing Luke Bryan comes up, and I listen to it, and so I text Frank. I'm like, "Country Girl ? Luke Bryan ? And he's like, "Yep, that's the one." And it was at that moment that I realized that I haven't made it in music because not because I'm not talented enough.
No.
I am absolutely 100% talented enough, but I'm fucking ugly.
No.
And that is why, because I realized, like, I'm sitting there, I'm listening to this song. This song is horrible. It is a horrible song. Granted, I love this song. It's like a bop. When it comes on, it's a bop. Yeah. But it's a horrible song. It is a 3-chord horrible song with terrible lyrics, sung by a pretty guy.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, dude, I have written songs that are like so much more complex, so much more depth, so much more emotion, so much better than this fucking Country Girl Shake It For Me song. But I'm the one who's singing it. So it actually...
It reminds me of there's a Dimitri Martin bit where he's talking about, he has a bar graph. He's like, this is a bar graph that shows how hot you are based on how willing I am to listen to you talk about your cat.
Right.
So you could be super talented, you know, you could people will listen to you talk about your cat.
Right.
If you're hot.
Yes.
You're super hot. They'll listen to you talk about your cat all fucking day. So
I actually saw Dimitri Martin live, actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was
that.
pretty good show. We took my oldest daughter wanted to go for a birthday, so I think it was like her 12th birthday or something like that. We got tickets. Me and my ex-wife and my daughter went to see Dimitri Martin at the Tower Theater. That's what I was. And I mean that as like all those years, right? So this was like 2019. So that's what, 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it took me all that time, and then finally I was like, it honestly, like, I felt so relieved.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I get it now. I finally get it. Like, I'm just ugly. It's not that I'm not talented. I'm just ugly. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay being ugly. I'm good with it. I really am. But so that's why I was saying, you know what I mean, about how you're like a guy who looks like that and sounds like that could make it.
So
there's hope, you know?
It's partially from that vanity side from it, but just from a artistic side of it, I really enjoy the shit. Like, it's like some of his stuff, like they parodied it in Walk Hard.
Yes.
Where it's literally and I think the song where he's parodying Bob Dylan is my favorite fucking song.
One about the little people?
No.
Because that's all Bob Dylan.
But the one where he's like, he's on
stage.
He's on stage on a fucking TV show, and there's just like executives standing off to the side, like standing there very solemnly and shit, just like. And the song he's singing is like something about like rim job fairies, the teapot, it's just fucking ridiculous. And they're making they're poking fun at how some of his lyrics are just kind of fucking out there. Yeah. But at the end of the day, motherfucker's got a Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, he does. He does. And I was reading. I didn't get too into the article, but there's a case where this album is literature and not just music. No. No, it's Dylan's stuff is amazing. It really is. Yeah. Like from front to back, it's amazing. I know some people, and again, these are the people who I know have seen him even recently within the last 5 or 10 years, are I would never go see him again. It was so bad and It's kind of you're not a musician, so you don't get it. One of the coolest Dylan stories I ever actually heard was Dylan was on tour, and believe it or not, his opening band was the Foo Fighters.
I was gonna say, if this isn't the story, if the cool story you heard isn't what I think it is, I'm gonna tell this story because I fucking love this story.
I'm telling it, and it is an amazing story. And so they're opening for Dylan, but apparently like they didn't have access to Dylan.
Yeah.
And then at one point, one of Bob Dylan's people comes up to Dave Grohl and says, "Mr. Dylan would like to talk to you." And he's like, "Oh fuck, really?"
Yeah.
And he goes back, and Bob Dylan's like, "Man, I really dig that Everlong."
No, see.
Oh, did I fuck up the story? Go ahead. Go ahead.
If I remember correctly, this is like a VH1 Storytellers that he tells the story.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how the guy comes up to him and says, "Oh, Mr. Dylan wants to speak to you." And he's like worried that he's gonna get like fired or some shit. So like they're kind of walking, and he's like, "Oh, he's just down there," and it's just like this long fucking dark hallway. So Dave Grohl gets down there, and he's like, and there he is, just fucking sitting there, like leaning up against a wall in his leather jacket, smoking a cigarette, being cool as fuck. And he says something like he says to him, "I like that song." What's the lyric? He said, "I like that." Not stop. What's the lyric? Not to stop when I say not the
stop when I say when. Yeah.
And he's like, I really like that song. He's like, I need you to teach that to me so I can play that in my set. And he's just like blown away. He's like, this is the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened to me.
And that like me, like I got the closest I got to anything like that was there's a band called the Mahones. They're like they're out of Canada. They're like an Irish punk band and whatnot. And I got to know some of the members of the band, and I given them copies of Move On when they came out. Yeah. And got a message from Finney, the singer, and he was like, "Dude, Move On's a great album, dude. It's like a solid fucking album." And like, and like that was cool. Like I had that moment which I thought was like, "Oh my god, this is great." And there's another moment where I had like that, which I'm gonna save that story. Because
it coincides with an album.
It coincides with an album that's on my 25. But like, so like I, honestly, obviously on a much fucking small. And the other thing I've gotten is like, and this is just like from local musicians who, especially when like Birmingham 6 first started putting albums out in 2008. I had a couple people call me up and they're like, "Dude, that song, it sounds like a real song."
Yeah.
And like people are like, well, "What the fuck does that mean? It's a real song." Of course it's a real song. But like I get what they're saying. It's like like okay, no, like I get it. Like you're surprised as someone who you're sitting there and like who's one of your peers wrote a song that like you would think somebody else wrote that they're covering. You know what I mean? So like I honestly take that as a compliment all the time.
No, yeah,
like, that's like a real fucking song. I'm like, yes, thank you. I really appreciate that. So like those are like the kind of compliments. But yeah, like that would be like the closest I have was like when Finney was like, he just shot me a message. He's like, "Dude, your album's fucking great. It's a great album. It's a," you know what I mean? So I was like, "Oh man, fuck yeah, I fucking made it. Yeah."
So to tuck back to your original question, why? It's because he's kind of like I said, he's kind of the epitome of fucking cool. Yeah. He's fucking cool, and like, yes, like we talked about it before, where it's kind of punk rock in the sense that he can write fucking
absolutely.
He can write some nonsense fucking lyrics. And like I said, motherfucker's got a Pulitzer Prize. I don't have a Pulitzer Prize.
I don't.
I own books that have Pulitzer Prize awards fucking stamped on the front of them.
But I don't own any books.
Yeah, so
that's actually not true.
You own cookbooks.
I own cookbooks.
But yeah, like so he kind of gives you hope, and not only does he give you hope, but he gives you something good to listen to. And now that we mentioned books, I have to remind myself to grab it next time I come up. I have a thing you might enjoy. It's basically a
comic book.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a
you actually have some comic books over there.
I do.
Yeah.
It's kind of a comic book. It's a hardback book. But it's basically a bunch of different artists took different Bob Dylan songs and did comics based on them.
Oh, that sounds pretty interesting. Yeah.
So I just for some reason the only one that's coming to the top of my head that is in the book is A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall.
That's a good song. So with that, Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, right? And I have mentioned it. So I am among that group who actually like to hear other bands doing Dylan's song.
Yeah.
Hard Rain's Gonna Fall, Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians. That's actually my first exposure to that song, and they do an amazing version of that song.
Yeah.
And so like other like notables are like, you know, like you got All Along the Watchtower, where you have the very famous and probably the most important version of that song is the Jimi Hendrix.
Hendrix, yeah.
However, the fucking U2 one on Rattle and Hum,
Yeah, I remember you saying.
it's up there. It's up there. It's not right with Hendrix, but it's like right below Hendrix.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard other people do like Blowing in the Wind, and that's, you know what I mean? Like there's like even what's it called? Even it ain't what's it called? The fuck is the name of that song? It Ain't Me, Babe.
Yeah.
It's a Bob Dylan song. People are like, no, it's a Johnny Cash song. No, that's a Bob Dylan song.
Yeah.
You know, so and when I listen to it, I like Johnny Cash's version better than Bob Dylan. So but it does go to speak that, like, you know, not to take away anything from Bob Dylan's versions, because obviously the original versions, he wrote the songs, he wrote them how he heard them and how they wanted it to be, but then people were able to take that and then mold that into their own thing. Shows just how great of a songwriter he is, that like that those songs and those versions are able to actually like expand on what he came up with itself, and I think that's amazing, you know. So
that's what I say. At the end of the day, he's fucking cool. He gives you hope.
Yes,
and you stick around for like just the fucking talent. Like he backs it up. Like,
so, and that's the thing. As much as, and overall, I already said it, I think it's a great album altogether.
Yeah.
However, sides 1 and 2, like the LP one, I enjoy.
Yeah.
LP 2, not so much.
This fucking thing is ridiculous.
I know, it's fucking great. It's great, and it's like the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, ooh, how much do we have left in there? We have a lot left in there. No, like, and don't get me wrong, like I said it. I already said, like, as a whole, I do enjoy this album. But like the second LP on this album, it's like, it's literally like all B-sides. You know what I mean? After you get and I think the last song on the first LP is Like a Woman.
Yeah.
And
so.
after that, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it was just LP2, I would be like, I don't know about this. You take the two of them, you put it together, it makes one real complete great thing. But LP1 I could probably listen to all day, all night, over and over again. LP2, not so much.
Yeah, like I said, this
but which is one of the reasons why I'm thinking of selling my version, because hey, all those songs that I really like, with the exception of one, are on the Greatest Hits album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know.
And it's again why I say, I was trying to steer away from Greatest Hits when I was making my 25 list.
No, fuck that.
But in retrospect, I probably would have put Volume 1, Greatest Hits Volume 1 on in place of Blonde on Blonde, and Blonde on Blonde probably would have been like a season 2.
I actually have another Greatest. I just looked. I have another Greatest Hits in my.
Do you too?
Yeah.
Check you out.
Yeah.
Fucking cheater.
I am. Hey, listen. Sometimes it's just you just go right to the hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah. On the whole, like Paul said before, on the whole, this is a great album.
It is a great album.
Which is why I included it on my list. Which is why Jack Black was so disgusted that this guy didn't own it in High Fidelity, which Jack Black starred in.
I mean, if you're he did. If you're that into Dylan, I get it. Yes, you should own this album. You should probably own every Dylan album.
Yeah.
If you like the Dylan hits, just get the Greatest Hits. You'll probably be just as happy.
Yeah.
If you're one of those people who does not have like an existential like reason for loving Dylan, just get the Greatest Hits. And that's probably me, even though like I'm a songwriter, like I get what I need from the Greatest Hits. So you should look on probably pretty soon you should probably look on HotsFullRecordGarage.com or my Discogs page, because I may have this listed for sale. An unopened copy, which right now I think is in between pressings with Mobile Fidelity, which Mobile Fidelity will tell you, we're not pressing that anymore. They're pressing it again.
Yeah.
But I might have one for sale in between that time if you really need one. So
let's face it.
What are we facing? I know what we're facing, but go on. I love your spiel.
No one gives a shit.
They don't.
About us two fucking assholes with this giant
They do not.
5-liter fucking can of beer. How many people do you think have ever like Andre the Giant has probably like cracked one of these open? And
Andre the Giant is probably just like,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like just crack it, just drag it straight. Every tell the story. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. I'll try to find it while in between. You ever see the picture of Andre the Giant holding a can of beer?
oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely it's so ridiculous. It looks like
Yeah.
me holding this
Yeah.
like. Which, by the way, this shot glass I got from Sean and Emily at Moonrise Salvage and Surplus down in Charlottesville, Virginia, and they have a Facebook and an Instagram. So they sent me a couple of these barrel shot glasses. I got these guys. So you should check out Moonrise, Surplus, and Salvage down in Charlottesville.
I forget how they ended up at my house, but somebody brought over 8-ounce cans of Miller Lite.
Okay.
And I was pouring one, and as I'm pouring it, I'm like, I look at it, and I'm like, this is how Andre the Giant feels.
Yeah, right. But like for this is probably
This is
like
a
for
normal,
Andre,
this is a normal can of beer for Andre the Giant.
I will drink those 5-liter.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, go on. You had your spiel.
So no one gives a shit.
Nope, they don't.
What's happening at this table? What people give a shit about is what's going on in that crib upstairs.
So can I tell you two things? Number one, we've moved Regina into her own
Yes.
room, so maybe that gets us a little more late nights because usually that's when I got the text messages from Katie when it would get to a certain point. She would be like, "Baby is asleep." Excuse me, because at one point the baby was right above us. She's no longer right above us. Katie is still right above us if she's going to bed, but she's an adult. I don't really care.
She can fucking deal with it.
Exactly. But so Regina is in her own big girl room now. We moved her crib this weekend. I texted your mom about it, and I was just like, oh yeah, I like took a picture of the crib in her bedroom and whatnot. And her mom's like, oh, is Katie okay with it? I'm like, Katie's fine with it. Dad.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much.
Yeah.
So I'm having a little bit of a tough time with it.
Mom's fine. Dad's having a.
Dad's having a little bit of it.
I've always been a very always been a very big supporter of get the fucking kids out of the room.
Mm-hmm. No, and I agree. I mean, at 9 months, it's definitely time for her to move into her own room. You know what I mean? It's like, and we weren't co-sleeping. She was in a crib the whole time. It's not like we're like, well, she's going to sleep. But no, she has not slept with us.
I've actually been a staunch advocate against co-sleeping.
Yes, yeah. The most like my daughter has slept with me is like when like she would wake up at like 3:00 in the morning because she was hungry or just upset or whatever. Yeah. And I would take her out to the living room and we would sit on the couch and I put the recliner on and I become daddy pillow. That's the most co-sleeping we, which I think is a very normal thing. I mean, it's like, and usually it's like, oh fuck, I fell asleep. Okay, cool. Let me go put her back in the crib. You know what I mean? But no, she is in her own room now, so that's a big happening. And the other thing, so she did recently start saying daddy. Yeah. And in the last couple days, she's actually saying, "Hey, daddy." Yeah. And it's kind of like I don't know that she's putting it all together, but she's definitely like getting to that point where she's starting to like grow up and like do stuff. But so it's like kind of funny. Like
she got a job last week.
Exactly. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't even have a job.
She works in a steel mill. It's fucking wild.
She's like, Dad, you listed that record wrong. It's not a Pittman pressing. It's a San Jose But no, I mean, it's just saying like it. So she's saying, hey, daddy, hey, daddy, hey, daddy. So it's kind of awesome. But so Regina on Bob Dylan, Blonde on Blonde. So I will say this. Okay, so first I will tell you, it is a solid indifferent. Solid indifferent. So that brings you to 7 likes and 1 indifferent.
2 indifferent.
2 indifferent. Sorry, yes, 2. I don't know why. I don't know. Whatever. And so I'm sorry. Solid like 7 likes, 1 dislike. Sorry. Yeah. And for me, it's 7 likes and 2 dislikes, and then 6 indifference. So now it's 3 indifference for each of us. Yeah. So here's what I will say is what she heard this a bunch of times. Mm-hmm. There was a point where it could have gone to a dislike, but I will get into it actually when we talk about our favorites.
We'll talk about it when we get into the value.
We will. No. We'll talk about it when we get into the favorites.
She realized how expensive this album was.
Yes.
And she perked right back up.
No, that's not it. But yes, no. It is generally, it was, she did not sing to it.
No.
With the exception of one case, she was not upset with it. She generally would.
Was it Rainy Day Women?
No.
Because it has a very like carousel like.
No.
Like type.
She would generally just kind of like tone out and be like, okay, whatever, this is on. You know what I mean? I guess you're gonna do it. Like no big deal. Yeah. So that was, but no, I mean, absolute. And the Regina heard this album at least 3 times.
Yeah.
I've actually listened to it about 5 or 6 times.
I've listened to it about 4 or 5.
Yeah, I've listened to it about 5 or 6 times. Regina has definitely heard the album in its completion a solid 3 times. So
There's been, let's just say there's been a lot of times where I've gotten home from work and then sat in my car and smoked another cigarette for about 15 minutes because the album's a little over an hour. I think it's 72 minutes, like hour 12, hour
something
13.
like that.
And it's about a 45 to 50 minute ride home for me for work. So.
Which, by the way, did the last episode work?
It worked out perfectly, actually, yeah. It was actually funny because I forgot that you released it, and I started it like a few minutes into my car ride, and it was still done by the time I got home.
There you go. So, and I mentioned that I'm like, Adam will love this. This is like the perfect car ride. All right, so your top 3 songs.
Let me open up my thing.
Yeah, pull it up.
I have it on my notes. I have text messages.
Oh no.
Oh wait.
Anything good? Is Katai sending you pictures again?
No.
Oh shit.
No, it's a buddy of mine that I used to work with. My buddy Alex and my buddy Matt, who were kind enough to pitch in together and send me what's the word?
A brevity basket.
Yeah, like a bereavement basket.
Yes, bereavement basket. There you go.
And it had fucking peanut brittle, and I fucking love peanut brittle.
Can I say this real quick? My fucking son, Jack, our producer and editor extraordinaire, can I just say that he all right. So Jack moved away to the West Coast when he was about 12 years old, and there was a time where I will say that my relationship with the skipper, in a word, would be considered complicated.
Yeah.
Right. But Tom had
volatile might be a better.
What's that?
Volatile could be.
I was going with complicated, but whatever. So Jack works at the place that I worked last. Moved back to Philadelphia. He was on the West Coast from the time he was 12 to he was 19. Moved back to the East Coast in 2019. Right. So, I mean, the he's been around, and he's been around the skipper and all this kind of shit. So, the people, because he works at the place I used to work at, I happen to tell the one person who I still talk to, one of the people I still talk to there, that my father had passed and whatnot. And, so it was like, and Jack knows this, the other thing. And so HR, I'm not going to say we were close, you know what I mean? Especially with Jack, like they weren't close, you know what I mean? Like your kids, our sister's kids, Zach kids are definitely much closer to the skipper than my kids were. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. It just is. It is what it is. Like, my brother Michael was much closer to the skipper's parents than I was. It's just there's nothing wrong with it. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? So he gets called into HR on I guess it was Tuesday. I'm just like, really? But anyway, he gets called into HR, and they're expressing their condolences and whatnot, and tell him, by the way, you can get up to 3 days of bereavement. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna take that then. Yeah. So the motherfucker is off for half the week for bereavement. Mind you, we haven't had a funeral.
Yeah.
We're not having a funeral.
Yeah,
not,
so
you know what I mean?
he
It's
all
like,
he wanted was to be cremated, and
it's
that's
fine.
it.
And, like, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
But it's just like when he came home from work on Tuesday, he's like, oh, by the way, I get bereavement, so I'm off the rest of the week. And I just look, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know what? Whatever, man. You get bereavement. They're gonna offer it. They're gonna pay you. So take your fucking bereavement.
Yeah.
So,
When I had specifically when it happened, I called my store manager to let him. I'm like, look, I'm not going to be in today.
Yeah.
But I'll be in tomorrow. I specifically said to him, like, can you do me a favor and not say anything to anybody? And he's like, why? I'm like, because it gets
weird.
It's going to be a fucking thing, dude. And I don't want it to be a thing.
Yes.
Like, I want to show up. I want to fucking work.
Yes.
And I said to so I've only actually told a couple people that I work with that he passed. But the one guy that I told is a guy that works for me. His name's Steve, and Steve, like Dad, was in the Navy. And when going through all of his shit, we found medals. And we thought they were Grandpop's medals. Turns out they're his medals.
Oh, nice.
So I taken a picture of them, and I went into work, and I said to the guy, Steve, I was like, hey, Steve, I'm like, you were in the Navy, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, can you possibly...
he was in the Navy. Can we just call him Scuba Steve now?
Scuba Steve.
Okay,
good. So Scuba Steve, I said to Scuba Steve, I was like, can you possibly interpret what these medals are? And he's like, oh, maybe. So I showed them to him. He's like, oh, I don't recognize any of them. He's like, honestly, I'd probably have to look up the
this
ones
one
that
was
I
for
have.
racquetball.
Yeah. So I had said to him, but this is when I thought that they were Grandpop's medals. I said to him, I'm pretty sure they're my grandfather's. I hope this stays, you keep this on the DL. I'm like, my father passed away. This was on Friday, the day after it happened. I said to him, my father passed away yesterday, and these are my grandfather's medals, and I just remember him saying that they were his medals, but never said what they were for. I was like, so are you able to interpret them? And he said, no. Actually, if you're ever trying to figure out what medals a family member has, there's a vast amount of knowledge on the internet. Nice. All you have to I literally just Googled Navy medals, and it gave me a huge fucking diagram of what the medal looks like and what the ribbon that you would wear in place of the medal looks like. So that's great though that he has a fucking week off.
So he got half a week off. But no, they also sent like a
I also thought the picture you were showing me, I thought had something to do with Jack. Yeah. I was confused for a minute. I was like, I'm like, does Jack know them?
No. But at any rate, so your top 3 favorite songs.
That's what we were getting to.
Yes, that's what we were getting into. Yes.
I Want You.
Okay.
Just Like a Woman. Temporary Like Achilles.
Okay. All right. So I have Visions of Johanna.
I say Visions of Johanna was knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's a great song, which that's one of the ones that's like not really on the greatest hits, and it's a great song. It really is. It's that song where like as I was listening to it, I'm like, oh man, what the fuck is this? This is really fucking good. Yeah. I Want You is just that. Yeah, that's just a great song. It's a good Dylan song. It's an awesome song. Yeah. So you know what I mean. So,
I know you don't care for them, but they talk about like I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles. It's such a great song because it's simple, and this is I Want You is simple. It's I want.
But there's more to it. There's so much more to that song, and it's a better song. Yeah. Maybe it's because they use a minor chord. I don't know. Whereas the Beatles don't.
They make it all dark and emo by using a minor chord.
I don't know, but no, I Want You is it's completely different, and it's and just like the way they like the beat's like I want to hold your hand. You know what I mean? Like he's just like basically Dylan there is just like, man, I want you and he's not talking in the like I want to bang you sense. Like yes, that's definitely in there, but it's like I want all of you. He's like, everything you have, and that's all of your darkness, all of your light, all of your beauty,
and that's what I mean by it's simple. At the end of the day, you need that person.
Yep. And then My number 3 is Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat.
Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat is a weird one.
Dude,
me.
it is a great
It
fucking
is a great
song.
fucking song.
Like, especially when you listen to the lyrics, I'm like, yes, man, yes. I fucking love this song. Honorable mention, and this really almost ended up on my because it's just a really good fucking song too. Stuck in Mobile
inside
a Mobile with the Memphis Blues again.
It is.
You know, but like I said, all 3 of those songs, or all 4 of those songs, are LP1. LP2,
yeah. So, what's your least favorite?
Okay, so this harkens back to where Regina almost would have ended up a dislike. Right. So my least favorite is very simple. Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands.
Interesting.
So what do I have written here? I wrote this over a week ago. At one point, so at one point while I was listening to this, I looked up and I was like, oh, is this still on? And there's fucking 7 minutes left of this fucking song.
Yeah.
I generally don't like long songs as it is.
Yeah.
It's about
12 minutes.
Yeah, and this one I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, like shoot me already. And there are songs that can be long where you actually don't realize how long they are.
Like Freebird.
Actually, that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good example. Whereas this is like, oh man, because there's like a lot of different stuff going on. And it's like, fuck, I just listened to an 8-minute, 9-minute song. I didn't even fucking realize it. Because there's other, actually, Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat is like a 6 or 7 minute song that you don't realize is a 6 or 7 minute song.
I will say, when I first heard this album and first heard Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat, I had to Google what a pillbox hat was.
Okay, fair enough.
If you're unfamiliar with what a pillbox hat was, just look
like
up
hat,
look up Jackie Kennedy.
There you go. Yes.
And you'll figure out real fucking quick what a pillbox hat was.
Yes, especially a leopard skin pillbox hat. Yeah. So here's what happened. So, and this is where Regina was a solid indifferent. So earlier on this week, I was doing food shopping. Now, this was generally when I do food shopping, it's a two store trip, right? Yeah. So not only was I going to Warrington, okay, which is a little bit out of our way, but usually like we go to Quakertown. This was a Warrington trip because not only I had to go to the post office, I had to go to the UPS store, then I had to go to BJ's Wholesale, then I had to go to Aldi, and followed by Giant. Right, so we're talking 5 fucking stops, right? For this 9-month-old who gets, she gets all in her car seat and she's getting bigger and more mobile. She doesn't like to be confined, right? Yeah. However, while we're listening to this, she's generally cool. Oh, we went to Target too. This was actually a 6 fucking store stop. This is a 6 store stop. So
the dreaded 6 store stop.
So at one point at Target, like after Target, after we went shopping, I gave her a bottle in the car before like we headed on to the other stuff. So she ate the bottle, fell asleep. Again, we're listening to this album the whole time, and she's not falling asleep. She's awake. She's awake. And it wasn't even like U2 Joshua Tree where like literally I saw her finding ways to get comfortable just to fall asleep. Right. Yeah. She was listening to this, but she wasn't reacting. She was just like, okay, all right, cool. This is all right. So
you're stuck in Mobile.
Yes. Great. Yeah, exactly. So this is post Giant, because after she had the bottle, she fell asleep, and we went from Target, we went to Giant, we went shopping in Giant, where she slept most of the time in Giant. Now, by the time I got to Giant, Sad-Eyed Lady started playing, right? So I stopped it, like whatever, and we go and we're shopping, and she wakes up in the middle of Giant, and then we get back in the car and we're driving, and Sad-Eyed Lady is playing, and that's where she starts getting shitty. Yeah. She starts crying, and like very much her cries were like, is this fucking song still fucking on? Yeah. Are we still listening to the same fucking album at this point? You know what I mean? So like kind of like it was definitely indifferent, bordering on dislike, but I wouldn't say she disliked it. But I swear to God, there you go. Not even kidding. As soon as I flipped on, like I just stopped the song, because at that point it was like the 6th time I heard the album. Yeah. I didn't need to listen to the whole fucking 12 minute song. I flip on Hairspray. By like the 3rd line of Good Morning Baltimore, she's totally fine. Do you know what I mean? So
for all those who are unaware, Good Morning Baltimore is the first song in Hairspray.
The first song. It's like do 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 boom, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the third or fourth like word in, she was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. You got that shit off. So definitely solid, indifferent, bordering on dislike if
Yeah.
she had that reaction to the rest of the album, but she did not. She was just kind of like, okay, this isn't horrible. I'm listening to it, which is kind of like, I get it, especially when you get to the B sides, to the second LP. So, what is your least favorite song?
Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands.
Whoa! This might be the first time we've actually agreed on the same.
At the end of the day, we don't need to close a song with a 12-minute.
It is actually the complete side of the B side of LP2.
Yeah.
So it's a complete side 4.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because it's so long.
We've talked about it before. Well, I've said it before. It's just a lot of times what my least favorite song on an album is just it for me. It's the least memorable.
Yes.
And again, even though it's the entire side of
it's just
side 4 completely,
it's just so
it's
redundant too.
Yeah.
It's like you could have taken that song for everything that it is and just cut out verses and just made it a 3-minute song, because it's just repetitive and over and over. There's nothing in my opinion.
There's nothing
special.
There's nothing memorable about
okay.
it. So at the end of the day, Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands would definitely be on the bottom.
All right, cool. So now on to the important part of this. The Discogs value. So here's what it's funny, because you say like you had to buy this, which makes sense. I thought what you were going to tell me is that you actually picked this up in that group, because I remember there were a couple albums, maybe only 2. Like I remember you said a neighbor of yours was putting out their trash and threw out a bunch of albums, and you pulled them inside your house, and then I went and grabbed them. I actually thought that's where you were going to tell me you got this album from.
No. I didn't take anything from that lot.
No, I thought you did actually take a Dylan. I remember you telling me you took a Dylan.
Oh, you know what? You know why? It's because I already had volume 1 of the greatest hits. I took volume 2.
You took volume 2. Okay, all right. And there was a song, if I remember correctly, like not a song, an album, for whatever reason, Liam was all about.
Yeah. My son really likes the song. My older son Liam really likes the song Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult.
There it is. Yes.
So the album, I took a Blue Oyster Cult album for Liam because it had Godzilla.
Which I remember you actually put it back in there. And then when I picked them out, I was like, no. You're going to give this to Liam. Yeah.
Yeah, Liam likes that song. Liam is a big fan of all things Creature.
Yes.
He's watched randomly he's found documentaries of Harryhausen, who he's famous for like the old like movie monsters and stuff like that.
Okay.
He watches documentaries on Harryhausen. He's
a YouTube kid.
Yeah.
He's not a tablet kid. He's a YouTube kid. There's a difference. There is a difference.
He's kind of a tablet kid.
To an extent. But he's a tablet. How old is he now?
9.
Yes. He's not a...
Well,
he's not a...
He's going to be 9 in
He's not a 3 or 4-year-old tablet kid.
Yeah.
Yes. No. He's a YouTube kid. I would consider him a YouTube kid.
I would literally... I would put on
It's picking this up on the sound.
Yeah. I would put on non-dubbed Japanese versions of Godzilla movies for him. The kid loves all things creature and monster and everything like that. So he loves the song Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult.
Very nice, very nice. So but that is not where you actually got this version.
I honestly, I'm pretty sure I bought it from Tunes.
You probably did.
But I'm not 100%.
So what you actually have there, which I was somewhat impressed with, to be honest with you. I was actually, like, when I saw, like, actually what pressing you have, I was like, oh, look at that. So what you have is a 2002 180-gram mono reissue from Sundazed Music. Now, for those out there who don't know what Sundazed Music is.
Me being one of them, even though I own the fucking album.
Sundazed is a company, it's basically a record label that does a lot of garage rock, surf rock, and psychedelic rock reissues. Mm-hmm. Does a lot of them in colored vinyl. A lot of bands that you may have actually forgotten about, Sundazed will put their stuff out.
Okay.
For a while, Sundazed was actually the only company that was reissuing Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, which is why, like, when I was like, dude, he has a Sundays copy. So when I worked at Soundstage Direct, as the buyer, Sundays was one of the distributors who we worked with. We would get our stuff directly from them, and they would have the Bob Dylan stuff. They would have the Johnny Cash stuff. They would have, the Hollies. They would have some of the old Monkey stuff. They would have just like shit where it's just like, oh fuck yeah, that's that band. The Hollies. That was did I already say the Hollies?
Yeah, you did.
I said the Hollies. All right. I'm gonna fart. There you go.
There's a giant can.
There's a giant can of beer here, and yes. So at any rate, they would do a lot of this stuff that like Gary Puckett and the Union Gap. It's just like who the fuck is putting this out brand new factory sealed?
Yeah,
but Sundays is, and they do that, and they still do it, and the Yardbirds. That's like a bunch of Yardbird stuff. But like, good for fucking them for doing it, for like doing this and keeping this style of music that could be forgotten.
At the end of the day, it's punk rock.
Yes, it is. So you should check out Sundazed.com, SUNDAZED.com, and they have their own online store where you can actually buy their stuff directly from them. Which honestly, it's kind of like music. Who should you buy your music from? Buy it directly from the artist, because the artist is the one who's going to walk away with the most, I guess, profit from that. Yeah. Sundazed directly is putting this stuff out when they, when it's being available through other sellers, they're not really making as much money. So it's a small business. So, let's support small businesses such as the Ottsville Record Garage and Sundazed.com and go by there. So, what is cool about your pressing here is they have even matched the vintage red labels of the two-eyed Columbias, like on those like older stuff. You see it a lot on like the Simon and Garfunkel, a lot of like 60s issues of stuff. Like it's called the Two Eyes of Columbia, because it looks like on the label it has like these two eyes on each side. This is also a mono 360. Yes. Mono 360 sound arrows. So the other thing with the label is there's arrows pointing in both directions. Oh. You know what I mean? So so you see it there. But there
is a big fucking.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
I actually didn't play yours, but it's probably fine. But at any rate, so these things are all what was originally on the original pressings of these albums. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is a 2002 album made to look like a 1966 album, which is cool, and it's a mono pressing. Everything really, honestly, it fucking sounds better in mono. It really fucking does.
Until you said it, I did not realize it was mono.
It really does. It sounds better in mono. So your MSRP for Very Good Plus is $24.46, bringing it to $25.
Fun.
Which brings your running total to $547.
Fuck.
My running total is $513, so you're still $34 to the good.
That's not that far behind.
I'm not that far behind. I'm making ground up. We are at
That's what happens when you fucking have 6 in a row.
6 in a row. It's fucking great. So we are actually right now, at the time of this recording, I have 12 albums to your 11. So you are $34 up on 11 albums. Now, if you look at my average value per record, I think I'm around like $44, $45 per record. So if you grab the box of Michael, it is completely possible that if you pick one of my records, I'm fucking taking
the
fucking lead back, because fuck Steel Train.
Fuck
Steel Train. Although if I could include my Paul Simon, that would be pretty mean. You know what? I think I picked last.
Did you?
And then I had a random record, so I got to pick from the Picture of Tom, which you've never had the opportunity.
I've never put my hand in Tom before.
Yes. Few have. Yeah. Few have. And those who have not spoken about it since. What are we putting forward? Let's go.
I always go with what is
Moving
it?
Pictures?
I always go with Moving Pictures because the only 3 Rush songs I know are on Moving Pictures.
Dig deep. Fucking pick one of mine. Make a lot of mess up there. You know what I mean? I don't need you just like grabbing a random.
All right.
Fucking, okay. All right. What do you got there?
I got number 45.
Number
Sorry,
45?
Forgot to show you before I ripped it.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Paul. I apologize.
Oh.
So
This doesn't.
it's a blue. A lot of times
blue is you.
blue is me. We're going to be covering...
I'm going to guess. I want to guess.
What do you got?
Can I guess? I want to go with Birmingham 6, Move On.
No.
Oh.
That would have been fucking... Do you have any of your stuff on vinyl?
So Move On. We never released anything on vinyl because as an independent artist,
it's expensive as fuck.
It is expensive as fuck to release shit on vinyl. However, I was actually given, and I don't think I have it down here. I don't. It's upstairs.
Do you have like a bootleg of your own shit?
So, my landlord's brother, one year for Christmas, got me, honestly, probably one of the most amazing gifts I ever got. The year that Move On came out, which I think was 2013. I actually don't even remember what year that came out. I know it's the last album I put out. It's just, whatever. Actually took the album and took it to a friend who does some sort of like limited pressings. I have a 10-inch clear vinyl copy of Birmingham 6 Move On minus one song because with the 10-inch version it's like you can only do so, but he also did the artwork for the album as well, so like he redid the artwork for the sleeve.
That's fucking
and
rad.
Actually got pressed one single, so I have one single copy of Birmingham 6 on vinyl.
That's
it's a clear, and it's like it's not like a real good, like, it's kind of like flimsy, but like that's not even the point. Like, it's just amazing. Like I have You know what I mean? Like I have, and it's the only one that existed. So it's pretty awesome. So that's the only I have. So yeah, but anyway, go on. What do we have there, sir?
Prepare to be upset, Paul. We are going to be covering one of mine, Bright Eyes, Digital Ash, and Digital Urn.
God damn! Jesus! Ooh! Ha! I have to be over dramatic because, all right, so we're going to tell you the truth. So I already picked this.
This is what I was going to talk about in the second episode.
Well, that's
I was going to hope we kept up the ruse and I would have
No, I'm going. Yeah. We already picked this. So
there was nothing else in the box of Mike besides this envelope. We had talked about how we were going to announce. Just for the record, on camera, this is the rest of the box of Mike going back into it. We had talked about how my next work week sucks. My schedule is terrible.
And our dad died.
Died.
Let's so that in.
I said to Paul, I was like,
I also have a very busy playing schedule coming up too. Next couple.
So I said to Paul, why don't we pick another thing and we'll do a back-to-back episode. So I was actually trying to figure out a way to build like a pocket into the box of Mike so that I could just sit this in.
Yes.
And then Paul just goes, why don't we just take everything else out of it?
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, and so Paul said before he does not like this. He does not care for this because it's not Wide Awake. It's morning.
Yes.
Paul showed me the video of him pulling this card earlier. And it was fucking beautiful.
So what I did was Jack, our producer, director, editor extraordinaire. Like when I did the random record episode the other night, I said, okay, well I'll do the pull from the box of Mike for episode what's ultimately going to be episode 27. I'll do that. So I actually did this on Monday night, and so I did the little recording of it. It's like a 5-minute video, which I might end up posting as like bonus content.
Yeah.
But it really, we just figured for this one we'll just do a fucking fake poll.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck. So I've already been listening to this for a couple days. So we're gonna be coming back at you now. Here's what's great. We are more than halfway through this 5-liter can of beer here.
You guys get to see the birth and the death of this mini keg.
Yes, and we have had one shot of Jameson, and there's only one way to do this correctly.
Oh God.
For the skipper here.
For you, if you guys at home, if you've never had Jaquin's Blackberry Brandy,
yes,
it's fucking rough.
So we're also gonna do this shot here. So the next episode is going to
Yours
be
is
very
way
interesting.
higher than mine.
I know. I don't know how it happened. You want to give me him a little bit more? All right, there we go. All right, so Adam just that's our dad, dude. That's our dad.
It needs something.
That's our dad. All right.
So
You're getting
so I was at Katai's the other day.
yes.
And her friend walks in.
You're getting a little bit more. There you go.
And her friend goes, Katai's friend Becky goes, "Oh, I'm really sorry to hear about your dad." And I'm like, "It's all right. It's not your fault." And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Or is it?" And I was like, "Katie!"
So
Becky killed my dad.
So funny story about that. My name's Sean. My friend Sean from the Unholy Four, who I talk about a lot. I've known him for like years.
Yeah.
And I remember when my grandfather Jack died. I was like, dude, Jack,
Pop up Jack.
Pop up Jack. Yes. So when he died, I was like, I remember talking to him. I was just like, dude, my grandfather died. He's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I'm like, why did you do it? And he was like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? So you just that is how you.
It's the best. It's honestly when someone says I'm sorry. I've always hated that when someone says I'm sorry when someone dies. I've always tried to think of a better thing to say. And it's the literally the best response to someone saying I'm sorry is
like what
is your fault?
So I am going to pull this out. I know we said we weren't really going to talk about this, but I did have a little subtle thing that was for us, but now I'm going to bring you guys in on it. So as you know, Adam makes the coasters from the middle of the records, the record labels here, and our father's favorite singer was Frank Sinatra. So all night long before Adam spilled the shot, the shot for Skip has been sitting on a coaster of Frank Sinatra, a man in his music here. So, so there you go. So there's another shout out to Skip there. And we are going to, once more before we end this, we're going to drink this one for the skipper.
It's fucking rough. Dude.
And then we're going to go and do another episode. So, all right, guys, it's time to
move on.